Hello everyone. Welcome to InsurTalks with Industry Experts, an initiative by Mantra Labs, an InsurTech100 firm building products and solutions for the changing world. Today, we have with us a renowned industry expert with around 4 decades of experience in the insurance sector, Mr. KB Vijaya Srinivas. Mr. Srinivas retired after holding joint additional charge of United India Insurance Company Limited as chairman cum managing director. He joined United India Insurance in 1981 as a direct recruit officer and has served in various metropolitan cities under various capacities encompassing almost all different aspects of the organization. On promotion as general manager, he was transferred to National Insurance Company. He later became the chief marketing officer and held charge of many other portfolios like foreign operations, crop insurance, rural insurance, publicity, CSR, estate, administration, etc. He has contributed many articles, journals, and periodicals of finance, taxation, general matters, insurance, and also co-authored a book on sales tax. He has been a speaker at various forums and a trainer for many institutes, speaking on varied subjects like marketing, finance, management, insurance, motivation, human resources, etc. He has been a recipient of awards on many occasions from the Insurance Institute of India for essays on various topics. Now, he is a freelance writer, trainer, consultant, and also director of MD India Networks and MD India TPA. Mr. Srinivas, a very warm welcome on behalf of Mantra Labs. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Divya. Great being here with you and look forward to talking to you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so to begin with, the COVID-19 crisis. We all know that how it is affecting our lives, and it is going to affect almost every aspect of our daily lives as well. So, what insurance industry is doing to address the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic? And what do you think how insurers are navigating towards a new way of life, which the buzzword today is the new normal?
Well, let me begin by complimenting Mantra Labs for this initiative you have taken to understand the happenings in different industries. And I'm sure it will go a great way in formulating your strategies too. It's a great initiative and
Thank you, sir.
really wonderful. Well, as far as insurance is concerned, it is insurance follows the economy as a norm. So if the economy goes up, insurance does well. If the economy falters, then insurance also goes a tad bit lower. This has been the experience all these years. And yes, if keeping in trend the same what has happened in the past many decades, we can expect a certain amount of fall in terms of certain types of insurances because there'll be less industrial output, there'll be less industries coming up, there'll be transits not happening, and there would be construction not taking place. So each of these fields which I mentioned, insurances are there specific to these areas, and these would definitely be affected. We can look at it from various angles. One would be that there would be a decision taken because of lack of money or funds inflow being affected by the insured, the persons who insure themselves. They could take a decision not to insure, or they could take a decision to delay their insurance requirements, or they could be selective in their insurance requirements, or it could also be that they may decide to scale down their insurance requirements. So it's a combination of factors which would affect in the first place. But then there are a lot of opportunities also, which can emerge out of this. See, today insurance in India is a low priority item. Like given an opportunity, if somebody had to go out and had they had the choice of taking an insurance or going for a movie, most probably they would decide to go for the movie and say, okay, insurance baad mein dekh lenge, or we'll see it, we'll have a look at it later. That would be the attitude that continues to be for a very long time. It's changing, no doubt, but then it will take time to develop in this manner. Awareness is also low as far as insurance is concerned. But thanks to this pandemic, I think there could be a change in outlook. Already one hears of people going in for health insurance, people who have not taken health insurance, or they are having a relook at their health insurance policies to see whether the sum insured which they have taken is sufficient or not, or whether they need to increase it. So these things will definitely contribute to an increased awareness of insurance. And once one enters and starts looking at one type of insurance, it's but natural that they will look at other insurances also. So it's definitely an opportunity from that point of view. And secondly, perhaps a new line of insurance will be looked at altogether, and that is pandemic insurance. In India, as of now, we do not have a standalone pandemic insurance, but it's available internationally. And to just share in small anecdote, Wimbledon, they had a event cancellation insurance, and since 2003-4, when the SARS epidemic came, at that time they decided to go in for pandemic insurance. So they must have paid some 4 million pounds or euros or whatever per year in the last 10, 15 years. So 30, 35 million pounds they would have paid. This year, Wimbledon, as we all know, is cancelled. And they are ending up with getting a compensation close to 140 million euros. So it's available internationally, and perhaps India, they will start looking at it in a big way once this happens. And if the insurance industry also comes out with the right products, perhaps it's an opportunity which is waiting in the wings, waiting for the insurance industry to grab. So this is both in terms of loss and in terms of opportunity. It's an aspect which is definitely going to have its impact. And as far as the industry is concerned in India, the industry took certain proactive steps. And there is a General Insurers Council, which is a body representing all the insurance companies in India. And they have come out with certain guidelines. For instance, in fire insurance, there is a particular clause which says that if a factory is closed without notice to the insurer for more than 30 days, then the insurance cover will cease. It will stop operating. So they have come out and announced that they are waiving this requirement for this lockdown period. But once the lockdown period is over, perhaps people will have to inform the insurance company if they have not reopened it. Similarly, for burglary insurance, the same condition and the same relaxation has been given. And similarly, now what happens if there is a vehicle accident? A car meets with an accident or a truck meets with an accident. There's movement of vehicles has started. And there is a condition which talks about spot survey. That is, at the spot where the accident has taken place, the vehicle owner is supposed to inform the insurance company, who will send a surveyor. And the surveyor is supposed to inspect it and give a report. Now, this is not possible in today's conditions where there's a total lockdown. So perhaps in this industry will take a lenient view of it, and people can take photographs and use that as evidence of the accident having happened. So certain the council, the insurers, the insurance companies, through the council have decided to relax in a few areas. As far as the regulator is concerned, the IRDAI, they have come out with certain relaxations, and they have instructed that any COVID case, uh, within 2 hours, there has to be a cashless approval given. Now, this is a major step taken to ensure that there is no delay and immediate treatment starts. Similarly, they have brought in relaxation in terms of payment of premium during this lockdown. So the industry has risen up to the occasion as far as India is concerned, and they have taken steps to see that things happen in a proper manner. As far as the new norms are concerned, what will be the new normal? Now, we have to wait and see how things are going to develop. For instance, take cash and banking, for instance, new way of life post-COVID. As they said, as for about the new normal, I think it's too early to say how things are going to pan out. We'll have to wait and watch. It is just the beginning. And there are so many ifs and buts in the way the world will develop. For instance, say paper money, for instance. Will people stop using paper currency? Will there be a big shift to digital modes of payment and digital transactions? Similar will be the case with insurance. As it is, there's a lot of digital utilization here in insurance. Will it increase? That is something we have to wait and see. And then with regard to certain areas, for instance, on an average in India, there are about 400 deaths on the road every single day because of road accidents. Now, it's one thing which has been noticed is thanks to this lockdown, that has not happened in the last so many days. So it's a very good thing. So many lives saved. And to that extent, perhaps the industry has also benefited. Now, as far as operations are concerned, how will it affect the operations? Will social distancing be the norm? Will that mean more requirement for office space? Or will people stop coming to offices? These are all things which are not very clear, and we need to work out once these things develop in future. And one thing certainly is there, and that is, this investment. There has been a substantial fall in investment. And investment income is something which is critical for insurance companies. So not only the equity markets, bond yields have come down, and long-term yields are, struggling. So definitely investment income is going to have its effect. Will that result in increased premium for the insuring public? So these are all questions which we need to take a little time off and decide and see how things develop. If there is an increased loss claims on account of deaths which are happening, or in case of certain other insurable losses which occur because of this. So we'll have to see the impact on premium. We'll have to see the impact on losses as far as insurance companies are concerned. So at the moment, it's too early to tell what would be the new normal. We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely, yes. It is still very unclear as to how things are going to be, and even the market is fluctuating a lot. So we've been, like you said, we spoke about claims, and a lot of of course, I mean, the insurance industry has also risen up to this challenge, and but we have seen there is a huge, when it comes to claims, they are processing claims in in 2 hours, and in terms of other industries like motor insurance as well. um, there will be some different ways to for claims. So, what do you think with the IRDA placing special instructions for these COVID-19 based claims, such authorization of cash requests within 2 hours and processing of claims within shorter time frames? Insurers are trying, so I mean, they're doing their best to reduce the hassle of their customers, but this has put quite an undue burden on this particular claims processing systems. How do you think insurance is coping with this? Is technology playing a very important role over here, and how important will the technology be in claims processing systems now?
Yeah, a very good question. Uh, in terms of IRDA's directive of cashless approvals having to be given within 2 hours. Uh, See, as far as health, this pertains basically to health insurance. And as far as the insurance industry is concerned, with regard to health insurance, which incidentally constitutes a significant portion of the insurance industry's premium, and also in terms of number of claims, as well as the quantum of losses which come to the industry because of that. Now, as far as this is concerned, it's more or less already quite digitalized. There is a lot of things happening online, and this will definitely make things faster, especially for COVID patients because of this directive. Uh, yes, as far as these claims are concerned, claims will be settled fast. And not only these, even for other areas, slowly the movement is towards, you know, going online. For instance, motor insurance, as you were mentioning, motor insurance. Well, motor insurance, already there is a move, and in some cases, things are happening in a digital way. But there is a lot of scope for digitalization in motor insurance, surveys and bills and integration and scanning, so many things which can be taken care of, which is still happening manually. So yes, once the move happens, this will also come into phase, and motor is also another area, big area for the insurance industry. Then again, there are certain areas where perhaps physical presence is necessary. For instance, fire losses. Samples will have to be taken. Somebody has to go and investigate. Somebody will have to check out the actual extent. Physical verification of documents, physical verification of losses may be required. So there, perhaps it may take a little more time for digitalization to happen. But these areas, certainly it's already in place, and we will soon be having more of digitalization coming into this and more things happening online. This is a certainty. I mean, this is the trend in which the industry is going. Whether it will, sorry?
No, please continue.
As far as the processing is concerned, whether it will be a strain on the resources, I would not say so, because things are in place. Yes, because of the lockdown, people have not been able to attend offices and take out files and documents and stuff like that, connect things. So to that extent, there'll be a slight delay. But once offices open, I'm sure things will all be back in place again. And as I said, health insurance is all substantially online, so it should not be an issue. And office opening, things will be back in place. I don't think it will be a big strain. there'll be a slight delay because of this lockdown.
Absolutely. So I have a small follow-up question here, sir. So we're talking about digitalization. Do you think so? Still, a lot of processes, insurance processes are still manual. Do you think that this pandemic, this ongoing pandemic, is going to be the impetus, the boost for insurance to move completely digital? Do you see that happening?
Definitely, it will be a boost. This pandemic will give an impotence to the digital movement, and even otherwise, the industry is quite well digitalized in various areas. Now, this will give a special thrust because people realize the importance of it, and more importantly, perhaps customers will want it will be more of a demand push from customers saying that we want things to happen online. Why should we go and stand there? We cannot go to the offices. So we, as I said earlier, we'll have to wait and see how certain new norms develop. Right now, people go to offices, give documents. Now, all those things may not be feasible. So how much can be implemented? And then the IT industry should also, along with the telecommunications industry in terms of connectivity and other things, should also come out with methods to see that it becomes implementable throughout. So yes, to answer your question, pandemic will definitely give an impetus for more digitalization.
Thank you. Thank you so much. On that note, moving on to selling. So given that now physical selling has been, like you said, I mean, it's going to be difficult and has been severely affected by the lockdown restrictions and the social distancing norms. And we're starting to hear that insurance advisory is now turning to digital to stay in touch with their customers. So on this entire base, what steps now insurers have to take to build and protect the demand side? Like in your previous answers as well, you said that the demand for certain like insurance is not something very I mean, it's not something that people given a choice between a movie and an insurance, obviously people will go for a movie first and then will think about insurance later. So how to protect this demand and side of the insurance?
As far as insurance has been generally a matter which has been sold all these years. And it was by way of a mandate in the sense because law insisted motor insurance came into place, because without a motor insurance policy, nobody can take out a vehicle and on the roads. So that is one thing which is being pushing things. Similarly, any financier is supposed to protect his loans. So they used to insist on insurance being taken. Voluntarily, insurance in India has not been very high. But of late, because of rising hospital costs, medical bills, medical insurance has come a big way, and it has acquired a major place in the society. But still, there's a vast group of people and many types of insurances which have not yet been explored at all. And digital, yes, of late there has been a thrust towards digital marketing, and there are many web aggregators have come into place, and they are also pushing the policies. Every company has got a digital platform. You can just visit their website and get quotes and take their policies online. Then again, there are agents who are the mainstay. Still, agents contribute a huge portion of the premium for the industry. And agents are also all the insurance companies to whom they are attached to. All of them have got agents portals. That is through which the today agents, there's a survey which shows that about 75% of people still trust agents. So agents are going to be a dominating factor for many years to come, and they will also get online in a big way. It's already happened, and in future it will happen in a bigger way. And collection of premium is happening online. Payments are happening online. Everything is all payments are happening online. So everything is almost online. So marketing will also happen online. And the only thing is, with the social distancing and people not meeting each other and all that, the traditional form of an agent visiting people and trying to influence their decisions, how it will undergo a change. They will continue to do business maybe over phone, or if there is a possibility by some kind of social means. So we'll have to see how the market changes, how the environment changes, and market will accordingly stabilize.
Sure. I mean, yeah, with the selling agents, now that the physical contact with customers is difficult. So it's a small follow-up question over here. Is there any particular thing that insurers or insurance companies can do extra to equip their selling agents to protect this, I mean, to create the sale or to help them carry out their work? They can do over a call. Is there anything else that comes to your mind that what insurers or insurance companies can do to equip their selling agents better to this situation?
It's a very pertinent question, and there is a tremendous amount of work to be done as far as agents are concerned. Now, when we talk about agents, it's not as if they are all similar. They are a very diverse group. You will have people from absolute rural backgrounds with no idea about insurance or anything, finances, insurance. You'll have chartered accountants. You'll have highly placed and qualified people who are at the other end of the spectrum. You'll have very agents who are doing extremely well and have been in the industry for a long time. There are people who come in, who are of recent origin. So one common thing most of them will have is their knowledge about insurance. And today, a good number of agents still survive on traditional lines of business like motor and health. But insurance is much bigger than that. The number of products is huge, and most people do not know about it. So the first thing which perhaps is required is to educate the agents. Each insurer has a responsibility to educate the agents as to what are the types of insurances which are available, which they can sell. Second is on how to sell them. The same technique will not be possible for each type of insurance. For instance, a motor vehicle insurance may be easy to sell because everybody is familiar with it. They know that an insurance has to be taken, and they know, it's a simple thing. It's a standardized cost. But then, when you have to go and sell something which is slightly different, for instance, there's an insurance called wedding bells, and this is a kind of an event cancellation policy in case a wedding is arranged and the wedding gets cancelled. Then, whatever expense has been incurred will be, given to them as per the policy. Now, if you look at how to sell both these things, the first one will be easy to sell. You just have to tell them that this insurance is there. I'll give you this policy. This is a great company. You please insure with us. While for the second one, wedding bells, I mean, it will be very inappropriate if somebody says, I'm glad to hear that so-and-so is getting married in the family. But just imagine if the marriage was to get canceled. So, that kind of a technique has to be told to them. And that is something which insurance companies do. Incidentally, this pandemic has resulted in a large number of weddings getting cancelled across the globe. And yesterday I was watching TV one particular wedding where a Lebanese couple wanted to get married in Vatican in one of the churches there. They had already booked me months before, but that is cancelled, and now they had to hold it in their village church and get married there. So, these are things which both things need to be communicated to the agent. They have to be trained. And with this particular thing coming up, pandemics and, preventing gathering of people at one place, even otherwise people will be reluctant to travel. Perhaps online there is a tremendous scope for it, and companies to explore this avenue in a very big way, on a regular basis.
True, true. Thank you for those wonderful insights. So, you were saying that there are wide spectrum of selling agents from rural to urban. So, I would like to come to the rural India. Taking insurance to Bharat was the main theme when we were entering into 2020. So now here, what do you think going forward insurers can do to reach to the rural India?
Yeah, it's what you have asked is what is there in everybody's mind, taking insurance to Bharat. In fact, I would just go back to about 4 decades back when I joined the industry. At that time, in 1972, the insurance industry was nationalized. Prior to that, it was done by private insurance companies, and it was mostly urban centered. So once it was nationalized, one of the avowed objects of nationalization was to take insurance to the deepest parts of India. I remember in the early stages of my career, we used to get lists saying that these are all districts where there is not a single insurance office available. So we have to open offices there. So the insurance industry, the government insurance industry, which had formed those days, they became busy opening offices in all these areas, no branch districts as they were called. And very soon that objective was raised. It was a tough job because there are still many districts which are inaccessible, which are those days, I'm talking about 80s, when things, were even more remote and difficult to access. But still, attempt was made and people were found and offices were open. The next phase, as I saw, was when the concept of what we call micro offices came, that is single person offices. So this took, insurance to deep interiors where only one person needed to be posted in an office, and single person offices started becoming the norm. And it happened in a very good way. This happened in the early 2000s. And the third phase came sometime in 2013, 14, when the government gave a directive that insurers have to open offices in all. There are 6 tiers of, according to the census, depending on population. And those with less population had not been connected. So there was a directive and there was a drive for opening of offices in all these places. That happened. So offices were opened, and great surprise, my surprise, many of these offices have done exceedingly well in remote places, in places where we thought there's no scope for any premium. So many of them have done exceedingly well. Some have failed, some have fallen by the way. All these things have happened. And now digitalization has taken it one step forward. And new marketing initiatives have been, channels have been opened by the regulator, IRDA. And, at remote locations, there is a trust to develop agents. And there are another set of people who have been permitted, that's called point of sales persons, who are essentially people, even a 10th class is sufficient for becoming a point of sales person. So a local kirana shop wala or a pan wala can become a point of sales person. They can do certain specified types of products. So these are all ways by which it's being taken to the remote corners, and the trust will continue. And added to that, this awareness which has come will definitely create a trust. But more important, there is another aspect which is missed out mostly, is that certain government schemes have come up in the last few years. For instance, there is this scheme called Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, which is essentially a personal accident policy. Now, the Suraksha Bima Yojana has covered more than 15 crores of people across the country. You have something, this Ayushman Bharat, which has come in, which has covered about 10 crores of families and roughly about 50 crores of people. And they are all across the country in remote areas. Then you had this Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana, that is a life insurance policy similar to Suraksha Bima Yojana. That also has covered a lot of people. And then you have this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which is for crop insurance, failure of crops. So all these are insurances which have connected Bharat to India as far as insurance is concerned in a very big way, and perhaps it's not been noticed or projected in that fashion, but connection has taken place in a big way. So I'm sure as things develop, more and more areas come up, and now with this onset of COVID, many states have said Ayushman Bharat was limited to BPL families. Now, they have said that they are going in for a coverage for the entire state, regardless of whether it's BPL or otherwise. So the numbers are going to increase, whether it is in urban India or rural. Things are happening in a very silent way. And other than that, of course, the traditional insurances like motor, that will definitely keep happening as vehicles come up. And with increased awareness in the form of laws coming in, becoming stricter for driving vehicles without motor vehicle insurance policy, I think there'll be growing awareness about it. So it will happen. It will continue to happen in the future also.
Thank you for the walkthrough of those 4 decades. It was a wonderful, so many interesting facts that we came to know. So on that note, prior to this ongoing crisis, the IRDA had recently set up sandboxes for experimenting with new innovative motor and health products. So in our initial conversations as well, like how you said, new lines can be developed in insurance. So what kind of new insurance products are being built or they need to be built during this pandemic crisis? So what kind of product innovation, maybe from technology perspective or maybe from a product perspective, do you think that are being built or are being researched upon to, it's very important to be built for this pandemic crisis?
Yeah, that is a futuristic area. Not futuristic. I think it's present and future.
Future. Yeah.
And pandemic, as I said earlier, it has created a loss, but it is also an opportunity, and especially for insurance. Now, starting with pandemic insurance, this is something which is available internationally. Of course, there also not many people have taken it. But in India, it's perhaps one area which will now can be easily prepared and people will accept it because they are experiencing it. Let me give an illustration. For instance, there's something called a business interruption policy. Now, if a loss happens because of fire or machinery breakdown, and because of that, the business is interrupted, and the interruption results in a loss of revenue, loss of profits, or whatever. So it used to be called a loss of profits policy. Now, commonly used word. So that is possible to be insured against. There is a policy available. Anything which arises out of a fire or machinery breakdown. But then pandemics is not covered, and there has been a lot of debate on that. And internationally, many companies have taken a stand that it's not covered and it not be done. In India, the wordings are quite clear. It's only arising out of fire or machinery breakdown. Yet there's a lot of discussion going on nowadays. So perhaps the time has come for development of a policy for business interruption arising out of pandemic. And as I said, gave the example of Wimbledon. It's something which they have, because of their foresight, they have been protected against this pandemic. Perhaps IPL has not taken that also. So they may not get the benefit of it. That is one area. Similarly, travel insurance. Pandemics, there's been a restriction of the travel schedules, and people have lost a lot of money. And not only the individuals, also the industry, the hospitality industry, the airline industry, the shipping industry, so many of them. So all these things have been affected because of pandemic. Can there be an insurance for that? Perhaps yes, we can develop an insurance. And similarly, you have spoilage of goods in cold storages. Suppose thank God we have a very good network. Electricity is in place. There's been no breakdowns. You have a grid in place, and everything is functioning smoothly. There has been things have been happening wonderfully during this lockdown period, and they have not been affected. But suppose there has been damage. There is a deterioration of stock policy in place. But then there are certain places where it's not taken. So what happens? So, you require, to take care of these things. And plus, not only that, even vehicles for that matter, or machinery for that matter, which are closed or kept in the lock for a long time, they will be lost. It's covered under the normal policy. All these are coming up for interpretation now in a different way, and we need to look at how things are and how things can be taken care of. In fact, I'm just reminded of a story from Mahabharata where when Dronacharya is killed, his son Ashwatthama gets furious, and he releases a weapon called Narayana Astra. So this Narayana Astra is one which would just kill anybody who harbors anger within them, or who has a weapon in their hands. So Krishna, Lord Krishna, knowing the implications and knowing what it is, and also knowing that it's been released, he advises his men and tells them to lay down the arms and not think of any anger or any fight, and just start praying. And sure enough, once that happened, uh, you know the the weapon got exhausted by itself,
Mm.
and all the people came out alive and were not harmed. So
Mm.
similarly, there are so many things available, and
Mm.
knowledge is there. We need to make use of it and come
Mm.
out with solutions for whatever is required to be done. And these are things like that. This pandemic is a thing which has happened, and we
Mm.
need to find solutions.
Mm. True, true, absolutely true. I have a small follow-up question here in terms of solutions that you mentioned right now. Uh, so the I mean, this is a technology from technology perspective. Will AI, artificial intelligence, do you think have a role to play for insurers to try to maintain their operational continuity during this crisis? There's a lot of operations that are being getting affected, and for the insurance companies, do you think that this crisis will make them cognizant of investment into artificial intelligence? Do you think that they have will artificial intelligence have importance, a role to play for insurers in operations?
Technology of any form will definitely have its role for insurance. For instance, in sometime in 2016, we started doing crop insurance with this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana.
Hmm.
So when it came to a question of handling volumes of data, we had to make use of technology in a big way. And then when it came to handling of claims, now India is a vast country,
Yeah.
and getting out claims at various places, how it happened, and floods happening in some places, and to find out whether it was affected or not. I had the opportunity to make use of satellite imagery. It came in very handy for some types of claims. I had the opportunity to make use of drones to check out certain areas of losses. So technology definitely has its effect, and artificial intelligence definitely will have a role to play in terms of insurance. It even now slowly people are using it in various areas, and we would definitely see greater use of artificial intelligence in the case.
Thank you so much. So here, the technology providers like insurtech companies, which facilitate technology for insurance companies. So they are also insurtech companies largely facilitate scale and distribution. They enable insurance companies uh, to stay ahead of the competition. But in this post-pandemic world, in this crisis, how do you think, what is the relevance of insurtech companies right now, and how can they create market attractiveness for insurance? We would like to get a small insight from you on the role of insurtech companies here, which provide technology services to insurance companies.
as I said, there are a lot of things happening manually still, as far as insurance is concerned. The trend is towards moving into those areas. Second is, there are many areas where we need to make assessments of what could be the possible situation, what would be the model by which it would have happened. So there again, there is a tremendous scope available. For instance, to give you an idea, an accident happens to a motorway. Now, modeling of that, it's already available in some areas. It's being tried out. It definitely will have a role to play as far as understanding what could be the possible loss, whether what is claimed is correct or not, and how it can possibly affect. Now, take another instance, health, for instance. Now, in health, uh, you know, companies developing every day. I find new products coming up to help the insurance sector as far as health sector is concerned, whereby they collect data, they analyze it, they check out whether what is said is correct or not, and it's all happening online, digitally, and quick. And it helps even doctors who try to take it up further, and also to find out whether a person is can be remedied, or whether what are the tips to be given to them. So a lot of areas are there as far as things are concerned. It's being used in a big way, and every area of insurance there is need for new things to develop. We had insured sheep and goats in a particular state, running into many lakhs of sheep and goats. Now, how to keep track of it? How to find out how many goats were there with whom and this and that? So we engaged a small company which developed a kind of a program by which we could do this particular assignment. So it was possible to make use of technology there. And similarly in other areas, it's coming out practically, so many things are possible. And just to talk about how things were, for instance, I remember there was a time when, say, RC books, registration books, certificates, and previous policies of insurance companies, vehicles, those things were never used to be available. You had to ask the person to check train on. Now there is a site called Vahan, e-Vahan, where you can just log in and get details on the click. And this is being used by even cops to check out. And now you don't, I believe we have reached a stage where you don't have to carry physical documents. You need to just show it on your mobile. And that's sufficient. So definitely there is need for all kinds of insurance, for all kinds of technologies to come in. The more the merrier.
True. Thank you. So on that last word, more the merrier. I think we have come to the end of our interview. It was such a wonderful I had amazing time interacting with you, and thank you so much for your sharing so many anecdotes from your experiences. It has been a very insightful session. So yeah, as you said, let's see how the pandemic, the effect of post-pandemic world has on various sectors, and especially insurance. So we'll have to wait and watch and see how it shapes up. Thank you so much for taking out time and interacting with us. It was an honor to have you on board with this interview, and hope to connect with you in future as well for many more such sessions.
Certainly, it was great. And as I said earlier, uh, it's a great initiative taken by Mantra Labs, and it was a very, I think, insightful way of carrying on with your work, getting to know industries and their requirements, and definitely it is a great thing to be doing when this kind of a situation. It was great talking to you. Wonderful experience, and certainly we will. I'll be available for any kind of.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.